Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Asia Sharma. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 21st of March. Two policemen killed in an encounter with militants in India's Jammu and Kashmir province. At least 29 killed in deadly bombing in Afghan capital Kabul. And world's first humanoid robot, Sophia, calls to save the planet in Nepal. And now for all the details. Two police personnel were killed in gunfight with militants in Kupwara district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Wednesday. The encounter was still underway till the last reports came in. Earlier, the security forces had gunned down 4 militants in an encounter in the same area on Tuesday.
4 terrorists were killed in an encounter that broke out in Kupwara district of India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province on Tuesday. The encounter ensued after the militants fired upon a joint team of the Indian Army and Special Operations Group in Halmatpora area of Kupwara district. A cordon and search operation was still underway in the area on Wednesday till last reports came in over information of presence of more militants. The identity and group affiliation of the slain terrorists were not immediately known. India blames Pakistan of regularly training and assisting armed militants to infiltrate the Indian borders and spread unrest in the Kashmir Valley. Pakistan denies the allegations.
In news from Pakistan, the United States on Wednesday said Pakistan needs to do a lot more with regard to wiping out terrorism from South Asia. The remarks come amid worsening ties between the two nations after Washington earlier this year announced suspension of all security aid to Islamabad over its failure to tackle militancy.
Hi, everybody.
The United States emphasized on Wednesday that while Pakistan is headed in the right direction, a lot more needs to be done with regard to wiping out terrorism from South Asia. While addressing a weekly press briefing, spokesperson for the US State Department said that Pakistan has to do more to address the continued presence of terrorism in Pakistan. She said Washington looks forward to Islamabad's assistance in Afghan peace talks and a greater role in stabilizing the South Asian region.
We've certainly seen Pakistan take some positive steps in the right direction, but a lot more needs to be done in terms of Pakistan cracking down not just on the Taliban, but the Haqqani network and other terror networks as well.
The United States and Afghanistan have long blamed Pakistan for harboring militants and militant groups on its territory. Early in January, Washington announced suspension of all security aid to Islamabad for failing to tackle militancy in the region. Pakistan maintains it has done a lot and is being used as a scapegoat by US for its failures in Afghanistan.
Moving on, a former European parliamentarian recently lambasted at Pakistan for sheltering terror groups on its territory. While speaking at his side event during the UNHRC session in Geneva, the former lawmaker also raised questions over the European Union's ignorance towards human rights violation by Pakistan.
A former member of the European Parliament, Paolo Casacche, recently lambasted at Pakistan for sheltering terror groups. While addressing a side event of the human rights situation in Pakistan during the UNHRC session in Geneva, he also raised questions over the European Union's ignorance towards human rights violations by Pakistan. He blamed Pakistani establishment is also ignoring minority rights and is involved in terror funding activities.
There is an article that clearly states that for being eligible for any trade preference, a country must apply United Nations conventions, and it is very clearly the case that Pakistan is not doing.
Human rights defenders have long raised concerns over the persecution of different ethnicities and minorities in the pretext of combating terrorism by Pakistani forces. Activists blame Pakistani security agencies are operating with impunity in Sindh and Balochistan.
In news from Afghanistan, at least 29 persons were killed and several wounded after a suicide bomber blew himself up near a Shiite shrine in Afghan capital Kabul on Wednesday. The explosion was the latest in a wave of violence in the country that has killed and wounded hundreds of civilians this year.
A suicide bomber blew himself up near a Shiite shrine in Kabul on Wednesday, killing more than 25 persons and wounding several as the Afghan capital celebrated the Nowruz holiday, marking the start of the Persian New Year. An Interior Ministry spokesman said the bomber blew himself up near the Karte Sakhi shrine, a target of the previous militant attacks. The blast was the latest in a series to have hit Shiite targets in Kabul and came as people were walking away from the shrine near the city's main university.
متى بسیار بلند بود این صدایش همیشه کل مردم گریز کرد و گریز شد.
Wednesday's blast underlined the threat to the city from militant attacks despite government promises to tighten security in the wake of an attack in January that killed around 100 people.
More on news from Afghanistan. A recent report by the Afghan government has stated that movements by militants were high and Taliban carried out more than 1,000 attacks during the past year. Officials said at least 11 districts bounced from being under government control during this period.
Afghanistan from March 2017 to March 2018 had witnessed many ups and downs in terms of security as at least 11 districts bounced from being under government's control. According to a recent report by the Afghan Defense Ministry, movements by anti-government militants were high and Taliban carried out more than 1,000 attacks during this period. Security and defense agencies now aim to further focus on offensive operations to retake areas captured by the terror group Taliban in the country.
کل باید خانه‌ای نباشیم درباره وضع امنیتی کشور و امیدوار هستیم که انشالله در سالی که در پیش رو داریم وضعیت بهتر باشد.
Afghanistan had observed an increase in civilian casualties during this past year, but no security agency has given exact figures to this effect. Taliban's attack on Shaheen Corps headquarters in Balkh province, a group attack on Paktia police headquarters, Daesh attacks on Mirza Alang Valley, and a deadly attack in Sedarat Circle in Kabul were the deadliest incidents in the last year.
In news from Nepal, the European Union Election Observation Mission has said Nepal's Election Commission has failed to ensure adequate transparency in its works. While publishing its final election observation report on Tuesday, the mission said the poll body did not create a mechanism for regular consultation at the central level in polls last year.
The European Union Election Observation Mission or EU-EOM has said Nepal's Election Commission or EC has failed to ensure adequate transparency in its works. In its final election observation report unveiled on Tuesday, the EU mission said the EC did not create a mechanism for regular consultations with political parties, civil society and observers at the central level during polls last year. The EU mission also observed that the poll body failed to publish critical information on polling center turnout and invalid votes. The EU-EOM in Nepal was officially launched across the Himalayan nation last year to observe electoral preparations and campaign in the country. The mission included a core team of Kathmandu-based 10 election analysts and 38 long-term observers deployed across Nepal.
More on news from Nepal. World's first humanoid robot Sophia on Wednesday appealed to save the planet while addressing a conference in Nepal's capital Kathmandu. The event was organized by the United Nations Development Programme.
Sophia, the first humanoid citizen of the world, appealed to save the planet from ongoing depletion and scars in Nepal's capital Kathmandu city on Wednesday. The world's first humanoid robot, Sophia, asserted on changing the lifestyle for the betterment of planet while addressing a conference on the theme Technology for Public Services organized by the UN Nations Development Programme.
Technology and artificial intelligence can help us take big leaps in ending poverty, hunger, ensuring better health, fighting corruption, and ensuring gender equality. Machines and robots are here to make your life easier. With the help of the internet, we can connect remote parts of this country to the rest of the world and deliver quality education and other services.
The event was followed by presentations from selected experts and innovators in the areas of inclusive economic growth, democratic governance and resilience. Sophia, who is now a citizen of Saudi Arabia, is the most advanced robot with artificial intelligence developed by a Hong Kong-based company, Hanson Robotics.
3 students in India's western Gujarat province have invented a speaking glove for the hearing and speech impaired. The aim is to bridge the gap between people with the hearing and speech impairment and rest of the world by giving them a convenient platform for communication.
Three polytechnic students in India's western Surat city have invented a speaking glove for the speech impaired, which would interpret hand signs and convert the message into speech through a mobile application. The inventors, Gopi, Gushali and Trumi, with the help of their project, designed this glove, which can be easily used by the mute and converts gestures and signs into alphabet through a sensor-based software which later is converted into speech.
जो डेफ डम पीपल है वो हैंड मोशन करेंगे तो वो इनपुट सेंसर हैंड मोशन को कैप्चर करेगा, उसके बाद वो भेजेगा सिग्नल कंडीशन वो कैप्चर करे हुए हैंड मोशन को सिग्नल में कन्वर्ट करेगा, उसके बाद माइक्रो कंट्रोलर को देगा। माइक्रो कंट्रोलर वो कन्वर्ट किए हुए सिग्नल को अल्फ़ाबेटिक में कन्वर्ट करेगा और उसके बाद ऑडियो सिंथेसाइजर के थ्रू ऑडियो में कन्वर्ट करेगा और मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन हमने जो बनाए हैं उसमें डिस्प्ले भी करेगा।
The aim is to bridge the gap between people with hearing and speech impairment and rest of the world by giving them a convenient platform for communication. The innovators have also made an Android user-friendly application which works in coordination with the glove.
Parsi community celebrated its New Year Navroz in India's western Mumbai city by offering prayers at ejeries or temples on Wednesday. Community members observed the auspicious day by wearing new clothes, meeting with friends and relatives and taking part in various activities.
India's Parsi community celebrated its New Year Navroz by offering prayers at ejeries or fire temples on Wednesday. Navroz, also known as Jamshedi Navroz, is an ancient festival marking the start of the Iranian solar year and the coming of spring. Community members observed the auspicious day by visiting the fire temple, wearing new clothes, meeting with friends and relatives and taking part in various activities.
जो हम लोग बोलते हैं हैप्पी नवरोज, हैप्पी जमशेदी नवरोज, और हम लोग मनाते हैं सब घर में खा पी के सब साथ में बैठ के, और शाम को कभी शो में जाते हैं कि वो नाटक रहता है कि कुछ शो रहता है तो वहाँ पे भी जाते हैं सब साथ में, तो एक साथ में गैदरिंग रहता है, सभी लोग मिलते हैं.
To mark the celebrations, usually houses are cleansed and colorful patterns are drawn with powdered colors at the doorstep. Traditional sumptuous food is prepared in every household as it is a significant part of the celebrations. There are around 69,000 Parsis in India who are mainly based in the western provinces of Maharashtra and Gujarat.
Well, that's the way to us in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. 2 policemen killed in an encounter with militants in India's Jammu and Kashmir province. At least 29 killed in deadly bombing in Afghan capital Kabul. And world's first humanoid robot Sophia calls to save the planet in Nepal. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.